My last video was on how difficult anniversary dates are of bad things. So something terrible happens and then every year it haunts you, right? Every year you look at the calendar, maybe you know it's coming and you dread it, or you suddenly realize it's that day and all those emotions come flooding back. The last video was on how, for a lot of people, that's really surprising when that happens, but also how it's sort of a normal part of this, unfortunately. So this video, I'm gonna build on that one a bit and talk about how to prepare and make it a little bit easier. So how do you get ready and prepare yourself if this date's gonna bring really tough stuff up for you? That's what we're gonna get into, and I wanna talk about 3 things and 3 tips and 3 suggestions that I think really will help you. Now this is similar, but I'm gonna kind of separate it from like grieving the loss of a loved one, because that's different and that's more, we wanna move into more kind of celebratory things and memorializing that person a bit. This is different because this is just pure bad, right? This is all bad. There's no celebrating. So that makes it heavy, and there's nothing good about it, or the good that comes up, like the good memories that you had with that person actually make it harder, because then you remember what it was like before this event, before the day you found out, right? Everything was different before that. Everything's changed now because of this revelation, right? So the 3 kind of areas that I want to talk about and we'll get more into are: 1, you have to accept that it's going to be hard, okay? We'll get more into all of these, but 1, accept that it's going to be hard. 2, make sure you prepare for it adequately. And 3, make sure you have adequate support around you, so you're not going through this all by yourself. So let's talk about each of those. So the first one is acceptance, because if we go into it scared or dreading or nervous or all of those things, it makes it harder. Not that they're not going to be there, right? You're going to be uncomfortable. But when we accept that, okay, this day is probably going to be tough, but I'm prepared for it, I will get through it, and I will feel better eventually on the other side. That's different than just pure dread and fear and just that feeling of, I know it's coming and I know it's going to be hard and I know it's going to bring up more for me, right? So the acceptance piece just takes the fire out of the pain a little bit. And that's how I really like to think about acceptance overall, because acceptance doesn't mean that we're okay with something that happened. It doesn't mean that we are glad it happened. It doesn't mean we want it to happen. Usually it means the opposite. It means it's awful, it sucks, I don't want it to happen. If I could change it, I would, but I can't. So accepting that it happened at least takes a little bit of the pain. And it's in my mind, I kind of think of it as, when I'm not accepting, I'm kind of pouring fuel on the fire and making the pain bigger. But when I do accept it, I accept that it sucks, but I'm gonna do what I can for me to move through it, then I'm not adding fuel anymore to the fire. So it takes a little bit of the pain out. So that's your first assignment. Accept that it might be hard. It might be really difficult to get through this day. Now, maybe it won't be. Maybe you'll be okay. That would be great, right? Hopefully that happens. But if not, it's okay, because you're going to prepare for it and you're going to be okay. And it's okay if it's hard. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with that. We can get through this. All right. So we accept it. Then we move on to the second phase, which is prepping for it. Now, this is one thing that is helpful. And this is part of why I wanted to put this video out, because I end up talking to people on that day or after that are still struggling, and they weren't prepared for it. They didn't see it coming. They got blindsided by it. Well, if that's not you, if you're watching this and the date hasn't come yet, you're anticipating it coming, maybe even if it's a different date, like an event or something that brings something up for you, like sometimes family events or weddings or that kind of thing can bring up this stuff too. So maybe you're anticipating that that's coming, we can help prepare for that, right? So if we know something is going to be difficult, we can plan ahead. And there's kind of 2 areas that I think are really helpful as far as planning ahead. 1, we need to prep for some things that can get us through the day. So what can get you through that tough day? What are some coping skills that can help you? What are some distractions that can help you? What makes you feel better? Maybe it's prepping a music playlist or planning to just come home and watch a movie and just do nothing. Maybe it's ordering food that you like, something that can help you get through that day and know that, okay, there's something in this day that I have to look forward to, and probably not planning big things on this day. So don't plan extra appointments, don't plan extra things you have to do. Give yourself some time and some space to just veg, right? Just don't put anything on your to-do list as much as possible. So you probably have work, you might have kids that you have to take care of, you have things that you have to do. So these are the things that I have to do, and then this is this time and the space that I can do other things or cope. And that's kind of something that's individual that we prep for. These are the things that I'm gonna kind of pull on to get me through the day. I'm gonna remind myself also that when I get home, I don't have to do anything. If a lot of emotion comes up, I can cry, right? I can be by myself. I can, like I said, watch a movie that I like for comfort. You can plan things that help you a little bit more to get through the day. And remind yourself that this is tough, this is hard, but I am going to get through this. And like I said in the last video, sometimes the day also brings up for people how bad things still are. Maybe things are still a struggle. Maybe you haven't got very far in your healing process. Maybe you haven't put much work into your healing process and it's all been about the other person. So that can bring this stuff up too. So maybe you say to yourself, okay, I'm not gonna put all my energy into this today, but I am going to make a conscious effort going forward to take care of myself a little bit more. I'm going to put my healing up front a little bit more. I am going to make this kind of self-care stuff more of a priority. So you can do that, and you can kind of make that sort of promise or agreement with yourself that you're going to do that, and that will help you work through some of the maybe guilt or feelings that it's like, oh man, this is still this hard. So that's kind of another thing that I think is helpful. And also, sort of in that same vein, I think it's helpful to plan something that you have to look forward to in the future. So that day is not going to be that fun. If you can fit stuff in that helps you cope or feel a little bit better, that's great. But it's going to be more comforting and getting through and sort of surviving. It's not going to be like the most joyous day. If it is, great. Like, I want you to be joyous if you can, but it's going to be hard. So just getting through it is okay. But plan something in the future. What's something that you really want to do, that you've been wanting to do? A restaurant you've been wanting to go to, or a class you've been wanting to take, or something. And plan that, maybe in the week after or something. So you have also something in the future to look forward to. So it doesn't feel all dark, because days like this bring up a lot of pain and a lot of emotion and a lot of darkness. And so having little things to look forward to and things that bring us happiness is really, really helpful. So we want to cope for the day, get through the day, plan, prep, write things down, plan the day and things that will help you. And I want you to plan something. It doesn't have to be huge. It can be if you want it to be. But just even something small that you can look forward to in the next week. Getting a massage, doing something that you enjoy, meeting up with friends, going for a hike, something that you enjoy, so you can have that little thing to look forward to. Because sometimes, during a really hard day, at least we can be like, okay, this is painful, but I know this will pass, and I will have this time. Maybe Wednesday, I'll have this thing that I'm looking forward to doing. So you can kind of hold on to that a little bit to get you through. And those things are okay. Those things are good to have. So accept that it's going to be hard, and then prepare for it. Plan, prepare for it. And then the last one is to get enough support. So this is often such a lonely thing, which is another reason that I want to put these videos out, so you know that you're not alone. And even if you only have me and this video and this little kind of community that we have here to support you, that's better than nothing. right? You can comment, you can reach out to me. We can help support you through this. But you have to have some support. So you can use this video, you can use this community, you can reach out to me, we can connect in other ways. I'll put my email below so you can also connect with me there as well if you want to. So there's no excuse, basically, is what I'm saying, to not get support. Because if you're watching this, this is a level of support, right? And there are plenty of other ways to build in support, but it's just something that's really hard to go through alone. So maybe you don't feel like going out with your friends, or maybe you don't even feel like talking to your therapist or someone who supports you that day. Maybe you do, but it's nice to have the option, and also it's nice to know who you can talk to when you're ready. Because like I said, I say this so often, this isn't something that to go through alone, because it's that big and it's that heavy. If it's only a therapist that can help support you right now, that's fine. That is great. Somebody is there for you. You can be really open and authentic with somebody, but make sure you're adequately supported. So the different ways that I always think about this is you can support yourself with friends, people that you trust, people that you love, family. You can support yourself with a therapist or a coach or someone who's more of a professional who can help you. You can join groups, in person or online groups, or you can join little communities like this community. There's Instagram communities. You can connect with me on Instagram. There's all of the social media is cool because it creates all of these little communities that can be really supportive in times like this, and you can be surrounded by people who get it. So there's different levels of support. Connect to one of them. Whatever you choose is fine, but connect to at least one of them. And know that you can reach out to them at any point. So if you need to reach out to them on that day, then do it. Or maybe you want to schedule something for the next week. Maybe schedule a time to go out with your friends, schedule a time to meet with your therapist, schedule something that next week so you can process it. And if you want to process it that day, it's a good day to reflect if that's something that you want to do. Sometimes I give people writing assignments so they can process it that way and they can write it out. So if writing feels good to you, write it out that day. Like I said, reach out to somebody. Maybe you don't want to go there. You don't want to reach out to anyone, and that's okay. But just know that at some point, the stuff needs to come out. So it's totally fine to get through the day just surviving. Do what you need to do to get through the day. That's our preparing. But at some point, that day or later, we need to get support and we need to work through some of that. Because if we don't work through it, it just keeps festering, right? And those emotions don't just go away. We can distract from them, we can push them away, but they won't just go away. So we have to do something with them at some point. When you're ready and how you want to do it is totally up to you. But just know that that's something that does need to be done. So those are my tips. Accept it, prep for it, get support. I hope it helps, and I'm so sorry that you're going through this, and I do know how tough it is. So please reach out to me if you need extra support. Connect with me on other social media platforms. Just reach out to me because you deserve support and you deserve help. So if there's that voice that's saying that you don't or that you shouldn't, that's not true, because you deserve support, you're worth support, and everybody needs it to get through these hard times, all right? So that's my last plug. Reach out to me if you need support, all right? But just know that this is normal, that it's hard, it sucks. I'm sorry. You can get through this though, and I'll be sending you all kinds of positive healing energy and just thoughts to be with you, because I know how hard that can be, but we can surround ourselves with that sort of thing. So anyway, I'm rambling now, so I will end it here, but let me know if you have any questions or comments.